101 review. Book 101 is all about the books that I've read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She is the founder of MP2 Moments, a company taking more human approach to travel planning, other than May's DeeJay Laughbon.
Hello, Daniel. Thank you for having me.
Welcome, Miss DJ on Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much. Um, DJ, founder of Map 2 Moments. I discovered almost a year ago that I really enjoy travel. And even with all the AI advances and everything around that, we still had a lot of opportunity. Travel is something I have been doing for a very long time, mostly solo traveling. And then started doing more family trips. And I discovered that's where there's a lot of opportunity. I have two dogs. And a husband serving in the Navy. So there's a little bit more about me.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss DJ. Thank you. And today let's talk about something good, building travel or building a travel startup from a frustration to fundraiser. So let's start with the raw material frustration. What the specific uh, real world travel snag you personally experience that become a non-negotiable that must exist moment for your startup?
Oh, thank you so much. So I want to ask before I answer that, Daniel, have you recently planned any trips with friends or family or with any kind of group?
Yes, we are planning to. Yes.
Oh, perfect. So I'm sure you have
Mhm.
had some experience firsthand how, in particular, if you're the planner, several things can pop up. It's not as
Oh
easy as just
yes.
saying, oh, yeah. um, a lot of people, when they think about trip planning, they think, oh, I just need to pick my location and then everything falls into place. But there's so many little things that a trip planner has to pay attention to. Um,
Definitely, certainly. So many people have travel frustration. What gave you the conviction that yours was more than just a personal grip, but is widespread, addressable market problem worth building a company around?
That's a great question. And I'll start with examples from people who I interviewed before I started Map to Moments.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, myself, I was going on a trip. This is kind of how it all started. I wanted to go see Ed Sheeran, the last of his mathematic tour. I missed
Mm-hmm.
it while it was in the US in, I believe, 2023. In 2025, he was finishing up this tour and he was primarily in Europe, but some other countries as well, and I really wanted to go see him.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got on to estimate the price, I used AI and searches and quickly found out that the prices AI was giving me for not only the location, but also food, transportation, places to stay, the ticket was only an estimation. In one case, it was only $100 off, but then in other cases, it was $1,000 or more off. So pricing is, and when you're trying to estimate out a trip, that was something I personally found a frustration with. And I was like, I think there might be an opportunity here to improve this.
Mm-hmm.
So I started interviewing people, asking them what frustrations do they find when planning a trip. A good friend of mine said she was trying to travel with her newborn. Well, he was a few months old, but he wasn't quite a year. They were taking their very first trip back to see her parents in a different state. And she told me, she's like, I've never called an airline in uh, so many times in my life. I think she'd ended up calling the airline 6 times just trying to figure out things for her child. And it wasn't that the information wasn't online, it was, but it was just difficult to find and difficult to understand. So I was like, man, there's an opportunity to help people understand, how do you plan when you travel with children, in particular if you're a new parent. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Another friend of mine, she brought up the example of she likes to go on trips with her friends, but she becomes the default travel planner, and she really doesn't like it because her friend lives in another state. So she'll pick a cruise or they'll pick a country that they want to go travel to. And then her friend will say, well, you find my flight, you find the hotel, you pick everything. And she ends up keeping track of everything in an Excel sheet. And she's like, oh, it's just not friendly. I don't like it. I wish there was an easier way to do this. And there were several other examples that we had as we interviewed, but those became the base of, I was like, okay, we can make this easier. We can make this friendlier for people. We can definitely put some more hospitality into the travel planning itself. So that's what really started Map to Moments.
Travel planning, as they said, Miss DJ, if you remove the inconvenience to inconvenience for people, for sure your product will people love it. In those early days, how did you avoid the trap of building a nice to have feature and instead identify the core must have job your product was being hired to do for travelers?
Yes, that was very hard because there's so many different directions that we could go. You know, we could have gone definitely down like the event route, the hey, we're going to make something for specific like music travelers or people who go to events. We could have made something for just family travelers. We could have made something for just, business travel. That's another big piece. And we quickly realized as we were talking about what do we want Map to Moments to be, we didn't want to be pigeonholed into just one of those segments. We really wanted to be something that was for everyone. So as we interviewed our alpha users and we got to know them really well, we really focused on what are the common concerns that they have. And that is when you book a flight, who all needs to know that you've booked this flight and what time you're going out. You have your friends who are coming with you on the trip. Maybe they're booking the same flight, maybe they're not. You have maybe a concerned parent or a concerned partner who wants to know when you're flying, what time are you landing, so they know you're okay. So they just need to view the trip. So it really started from that, like what are the commonalities? And that's what, for those who join our beta, which we have up here on the screen coming soon. It'll come in the spring. Those are the things that you can expect. So it'll really help you coordinate those core pieces. And then as we understand how our beta users use it, we're going to build out more features that people are looking for instead of getting pigeonholed into just one segment that people might like. So I'll say our alpha users and our beta users are very key to building out those features that travelers are going to find as a success.
Good luck for that, Miss DJ. Looking forward for that success. The travel industry is famously complex and intense players. What was your unfair first advantage or unique insight that allowed you to see the path where others saw just a barriers?
Yeah. Well, the nice thing is we're not trying to be a hotel chain or a tour
Mm-hmm.
agency or airline. We're not trying to be an airline. We're just trying to help people coordinate. And the beautiful thing, Delta's been around for, I believe they just celebrated 100 years recently.
Mm-hmm.
Marriott's been around for a long time. So have several tour companies, Expedia. They do what they do really, really well. So we're not trying to encroach on their territory. We're not trying to take anything away from them. In fact, we hope that our users, often we help users link to those sites. So if someone's like, hey, I want to book a flight and I have a preference for Delta flights, then we'll show them Delta flights. And once they choose their flight, we're going to link them directly to Delta to book it. We're not going to try and book it for them. But what we will do, we'll get those calls and we'll help them if they're thinking about several times or they want to do a comparison between, say, Delta or Southwest or United or Frontier. We can show them all of those by grabbing it. and then they can see, not only the price difference but the time difference as they're thinking about their trip. So again, we're very focused on that coordination piece, and they can throw in their hotel as well. They can also, we're doing for beta, I believe it'll be an estimated food cost, so they can
Mm-hmm.
see, hey, for this city it's going to cost about $100 per day per person to eat, so they can just get an idea of, okay, this is where it is. And then as they lock in, and again, they'll book with the companies who actually have those, who specialize in them. So we're not getting in the way there. We can then help keep track of, the flight times, when they're landing, the hotel, and then coordinate that with their guests. So that, say you have one person flying in from Texas and another person flying in from Missouri, hopefully we can get so their flights land either within a half hour or an hour of each other. At least they can see it and they can coordinate it. That's what we're hoping to do, really bring that ease into it, and each person can own their own, so that one person isn't feeling like, gosh, I have to plan this all myself. Or if we do have a family, say there's a parent planning for a family of four, it's easier for them to do all that planning and get the estimates up front for everything that they need, so they can make a decision on, hey, where are we going to vacation?
Before a single line of code, Miss DJ, how did you validate this was not just your problem? What is your minimum viable test to prove a real people would use a solution?
Yeah. So we built out a very sketchy alpha. I will say it's definitely not something I would have released to the general public, and we didn't. And that we then turned around and tested with our friends and family. They gave our feedback. We asked them, hey, would you use this on a family vacation or on a trip with your friends? And we got some feedback on what would work and what wouldn't. And a lot of people came back and said, if something like this was available, I would be using it. Um, and that was our validation for the product.
Interesting, interesting, Miss DJ. Travel is emotional, don't you think? How did you bake empathy and a deep understanding of the traveler's state of mind into a product itself rather than just treating it as a logistics puzzle?
Yeah. Um, it definitely came down to that, one size does not fit all. We're not trying to create an itinerary. We're not trying to say, hey, you have to travel this way. This was something we learned from our alpha users. I'm a very logical thinker, destination, how are we getting to the destination? Where are we staying? Where's the tour? Bum, bum, bum. I think very much in a line. And it was interesting as we were doing our alpha tours, or alpha testing, sorry. We had one person who came in and said, I like to take a vacation May, 20th through May 27th every year. That's my vacation week. And we're like, okay. And they're like, show me what's going to be the best place to go on vacation. And we're like, oh, whoa. We're still tweaking like how to get it from something that vague. But it was just interesting to hear they were like, I have a week that I want a vacation. So they weren't starting with a destination, they weren't even starting with a budget. And they were like, help me make a vacation from this. So it was really interesting to discover, okay, what did we need to learn about this person so that we can help them find a great vacation from May 20th to May 27th, which is never a way I would vacation. We have other people who came in and they're like, well, my vacation's very dictated by my budget. This is how many people are coming. This is the budget that I have. Here's the vacations that we've been on before. What would be something that we could go do? Again, not a way I would plan a vacation. So it was interesting as we're working on the alpha with them to discover the different ways people plan, and how do we make something that isn't, a one size, that we are flexible to these different forms of planning.
Hmm. So, Miss DJ, in the early grind, how do you maintain the vision of a transformative experience while dealing with the brutal, well, partnership of APIs or user feedback?
Oh, I think we found it really fun. I would be hesitant to call it brutal. The team is very creative. They have a
Hmm.
lot of ideas themselves. We do have people around different parts of the world helping us to build this. And definitely a lot of fun conversation about the different things that we saw, as well as we always keep our minds on efficiency and how can we make it better, smoother. Smooth is not easy, I will say in particular.
Yes, it's
Yes.
not easy.
Um,
So, Miss DJ, as a founder, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
my short term and long term goals.
Yes, please.
Yes. Uh, Definitely our short-term goal is to get our beta launched here in the spring. We're very excited for it. If you have any listeners local to Utah, we will be attending the uh, Outdoors and Off-Roading Expo coming up at the end of February. We'll also be attending the Root Tech Expo in the very beginning of March. So if you have any listeners in Utah, we welcome them to come see us at either one of those expos. We'll have live demos there. Um, our long-term goals is definitely, you know, bring it to people's attention that this process can be better. It doesn't have to be manual. They don't need to keep it in a notebook. They don't need to keep it on an Excel. They don't need to feel frustration of being a essentially a travel planner for themselves or their friends or their family. That there's a better solution out there.
A better solution for sure. And good luck to your goals and looking forward for more success, Miss DJ. And what would be your piece of advice for those people that don't want to be a founder like you?
Validate your idea before you start it. This isn't the first business idea that I've had. I've had about five that have died in the validation stage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I will say I'm glad that they died in that stage and I didn't pull. Once you get going, it's a lot of money and a lot of time. So making sure the idea is valid is important. Don't skip that step.
Validation and people, you need to learn for those failure, and is the process to get better and better and better and to be successful in life. And thank you for that, Miss DJ. Thank you for that empowering advice. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Yes. The Culture Code by Daniel Coyle,
Mm-hmm.
um, and Unreasonable Hospitality by William. I know I'm going to say his last name wrong. Guarda,
Mm-hmm.
Guidara.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely amazing books. Definitely put a perspective on what you want to bring to your customers in a very fun and storytelling way.
Thank you for that recommended book, Miss DJ. So, for an aspiring founder listening who is sitting on their own frustration, what is your identified non cliche first piece of advice on taking it from the dinner table rant to reveal venture?
Um, There's more ways than you think to get help, whether it be you need mentorship or you need funding or you need a team. For team, I've really turned towards interns, people coming right out of college who need a lot of help. That was a creative idea that thankfully one of my friends gave to me. And they've pushed this quite far. They've been a key part of my team to get this up as far as it is. For funding, I found Fund Zero. They're a fascinating company. They help to get you up off the ground. It's definitely not the traditional route of looking for an investor or a grant. Would recommend them. So any problem that you have, there is a creative solution, and it might be talking to the right person or finally putting the right words into a search. But don't give up just because you're facing a problem that's difficult to solve. There is a solution. It just might not be the one that you think it is.
Yes, people, don't give up. Try until you succeed. And Miss DJ, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please don't listen to my other podcast, people, because my podcast is already in sixth season. Abstract Poverty in third season, and of course my book 101 review in sixth season as well. Comedy 101 in third season, and my food 101 in sixth season too. Geography 101, love letters, movie 101 review, music 101 are fifth season, science 101, sex 101 fourth season, trivia 101, law 101, mental health 101, motivation 101, entrepreneurship 101, and of course my Bible verses 101 are my baby podcasts. So please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So Miss DJ, looking at the broader landscape, what is the persistent unsolved frustration in travel today that you see as the next great opportunity for a founder brave enough to tackle it?
Uh, the next opportunity. There's going to be a lot of interesting things in virtual travel. I know that's not something people think of as travel, but that's definitely becoming a bigger and bigger world. So it'd be interesting to see the solutions people come up with around there.
Yes, that's an empowering answer, Miss DJ. So can you please invite our listeners to support your business, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now? And thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and knowledge to the world.
Yep. Thank you, Daniel. For the listeners, if anything I've said, if you have an upcoming trip, if you'd like to participate, please sign up for our newsletter as shown here. And like I said, the beta fundraiser will be happening in the spring, and we'd love to have you join us. We do have direct feedback built right into the app so that we can get to your solutions and suggestions quickly. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, people, let's support Ms. DeeJay Laughbon, because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering advocacy like this to rise. So, Ms. DeeJay, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you too. Have a good day.
Maricam people, see you soon.